Hey all, Scott here from Art of the Genre, and today I'm going to take kind of an existential look at gaming and asking the question, what happens when the DM dies? Or game master in that sense. Because it's something I've been thinking a lot about lately, just in the aspects of the age of the overall gaming, industry or the hobby itself. And, you know, one thing when you look at this, you can say, we're all not Jarror Tolkien, right? Where we've got a son who's willing to take everything that we've ever written and continue to put it out, and there's a massive need or desire for people in the IP or people around the world looking out to have more Middle Earth. The same thing could be said for someone like, even in our industry, if Gary Gygax, who passed. I'm sure that a lot of his notes and everything that he had would have gone to his sons, and or might have been put out to other people who worked with him in the industry, and those things are still looked at. I'm sure in some ways are still utilized in the gaming industry as a whole. But not all of us are going to be Gygax or Tolkien, and even sometimes we're going to have kids, or we're not. Sometimes we won't have any kids, or sometimes we have kids that have no interest in what we do as game masters, and then all of a sudden you get older. I'm going to be 50 this year in 2021, so it's just something that you look at when you start looking at your stuff. Now, it's one thing to say, okay, well, if I look at that shelf behind me, there might be a need for a lot of the items that I have in it. You could sell the books, you could give them to, bookstores, you could do those things with them. If you had a market, you could sell off the Middle Earth, you could sell off these books, anything that might have a collector's value. I get it. Or you can just take them out and put them in a yard sale, and people might buy them for a quarter, and you see people getting these great deals for stuff that they found, at yard sales and stuff. Hey, that's fine. That's your collection. But my question here is, what happens to a GM or a dungeon master's creative processes that they may have worked on for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? And I know personally, I have folder after folder and file cabinet after file cabinet of campaign after campaign after campaign and game after game after game. And that is all physical copies, not even to be looked at it, let's say if we move into a digital age, and then you've got a computer that might have file upon file upon file upon file digitally of stuff that you've created or stuff that you've mined and you've worked on, and you've tried to put together to make great campaigns and do great storytelling over the course of years, not to mention just character sheet after character sheet after character sheet. And when you look at it and you say, if you really take a hard look at it and you go, probably all this stuff is going to a dumpster for the most part. If those books get sold, anything else that's on paper or in a hard drive, the old computer will be thrown away, and all of your papers are going to be bundled up and thrown in a trash bag and thrown out. And it's just something that I wonder about, because let's say if you do lose a game master, you have a long-going game, maybe some of those things are taken up by other players. I'm in a group that I've run with, since middle school. That's a long time, and I know if any member of that group, passed away, that I would look to take a lot of their stuff, not necessarily their gaming stuff, but their folders and folders of stuff that I could look through and have nostalgia for and understand, I remember when this character was used, or I remember when this campaign was done, and you could kind of process yourself into that. But that's just a DM taking other DM stuff that nobody else wants, and then when I go or somebody else goes that might have taken that stuff, it's again one step removed, trash bag, thrown away. And it's just one of those things where you look, how sad it is that you could spend an entire lifetime creating something and doing these things and seeing it thrown out. So that's the question that I propose to everyone today. Have you ever had a DM or a game master pass away, and what happened to the items not of particular value, like the books that you see behind you, but the actual items that were created by that person? And how did you deal with it as a gaming group? Not only the loss of a friend, but the loss of everything that that friend created, and everything that person put into, creating their own worlds, or telling a story to you. How is that dealt with? If anyone has stories that they can tell or they can put below, I would love to hear your comments on it. It's one of those pie in the sky things to think there could be a database where this stuff could go in, but we all have to be realistic that no one really, cares that much about most of the worlds that you create. That's just the way it is. But nevertheless, we can still have the memories of these people and maybe have an understanding of what happens when those sad points happen. So let me know. Please comment below, if you can. And I would like to hear if anybody has any kind of, or solution or story to tell concerning what happens when a dungeon master passes away. So thank you for putting up with a little bit of my existential crisis today. And otherwise, as always, until the end, great gaming.